We're all pretty used to technology that can find answers for us or, analyze a bunch of data. But what if it could actually create something? What if a computer could go beyond just processing information and start generating brand new, totally original content? Well, that is the incredible power and the really interesting puzzle of generative AI.
And believe it or not, that question isn't just for sci-fi movies anymore. It's the real core idea behind one of the most transformative technologies of our time. We're talking about a massive shift from AI that just classifies information to AI that actually synthesizes it. It creates.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll nail down the big idea. What exactly is generative AI? Then, we'll look at how it's already turning industries upside down. After that, we're going to peek under the hood at the magic that makes it all work, then explore this new partnership between people and AI, and finally, we'll have to tackle the really tough, really important ethical questions this whole thing brings up.
Okay, let's dive right in with the big idea. When we throw around the term generative AI, what are we actually talking about?
Well, when you boil it all down, it's a kind of AI that learns from a whole bunch of data, like images or text or music, and then uses that knowledge to create new data that looks and feels just like the stuff it was trained on. Think about it like an art student who studies thousands of paintings by Monet, gets the style down perfectly, and then paints a brand new piece that looks like it could have been made by the master himself. That's pretty much the idea.
Now, to really get a handle on this, it's super helpful to compare it to the kind of AI most of us are already familiar with. So traditional AI, or discriminative AI, is kind of like a detective. Its whole job is to look at evidence and classify it. Is this a picture of a cat, or is it a dog? But generative AI, it's more like an artist. It doesn't just identify cats. It learns the very essence of catness and then creates a totally new cat picture from its own imagination.
And this ability to create isn't just a cool party trick for making funny pictures. No way. This is a fundamental change that's already a revolutionary force in some of the biggest industries out there, from medicine all the way to finance. Take healthcare, for example. You've got companies like In Silico Medicine using these generative models to literally dream up brand new molecular structures that have never existed before. This could completely change the game for drug discovery, potentially slashing a process that can take years and billions of dollars. It's a whole new way of finding cures. Or how about finance? This is a total game changer for security. Instead of just teaching an AI what known fraud looks like, these models learn the incredibly complex patterns of what normal behavior looks like for millions of people. So the second something weird happens, something that doesn't fit that pattern, systems at places like PayPal can flag it as a potential threat in an instant.
And of course, in the creative world, wow, this tech is just sparking an explosion of new ideas. Artists can use something called style transfer to take a photo they shot and instantly repaint it in the style of Van Gogh. It's like they're collaborating with the AI to create something that's totally new and unique.
Okay, all of this sounds incredible, almost like magic, right? So the big question has to be, how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and look at one of the most clever and famous mechanisms that makes it all possible.
I mean, how on earth does a machine learn to be so, creative? A lot of the time, the answer lies in this brilliant idea called generative adversarial networks, or for short, GANs.
Okay, so just imagine two AIs locked in a constant competition. The first one is called the generator. Think of it as an art forger, trying its absolute best to create a fake painting that looks completely real. The second one is the discriminator. It's the expert art critic, and its only job is to tell the difference between a real masterpiece and the forger's fake. Now, every time the critic spots a fake, the forger learns and gets better. And as the forger gets better, the critic has to get smarter to keep up. After millions and millions of rounds of this adversarial dance, the generator gets so good that its fakes are just indistinguishable from the real thing. It's amazing.
And that whole process brings us to a really crucial point. Generative AI isn't just about replacing what people do, it's about making what we do even better. It's creating this entirely new kind of partnership. So we really have to shift our thinking. We need to stop seeing AI as just a simple tool, like a hammer. We need to start seeing it as a co-creator, a creative partner that can brainstorm with us, suggest new ideas, and build things right alongside us. It changes the whole process of how we create.
And listen, this is not some far-off future stuff.
It is happening right now all over the place. Architects are telling tools from Autodesk their constraints, and the AI is generating thousands of brilliant design options they would have never thought of. Artists are using NVIDIA's tools as a kind of digital muse, and writers are smashing through writer's block by using models like GPT-3 as a tireless brainstorming buddy.
But with all this incredible new power, we are also forced to face some pretty heavy responsibilities. As we stand here on this new frontier, we absolutely have to look these emerging ethical questions right in the eye.
The thing is, when you have the power to create content that is basically indistinguishable from reality, you have to be responsible with it. This isn't just a technical challenge anymore, it's a huge societal one. And honestly, the stakes could not be higher.
This just blows the doors open on a whole new set of thorny questions that we're really just starting to figure out. For instance, what happens to copyright when an algorithm is the creator? Who owns that art? And what about the very real danger of misinformation, with realistic deepfakes that can be used to spread lies? And of course, there's the massive question about jobs, right? What happens when highly skilled creative and analytical work can be automated? These are the critical conversations we need to be having right now.
So, where does that leave us? Is generative AI a tool, a collaborator, or is it the next great frontier of creativity itself? The truth is, it's probably all three. It's an unbelievably powerful tool. It's a challenging new kind of collaborator. And it's a frontier that is forcing all of us to rethink what we even mean by art, by creation, and maybe even by intelligence. One thing is for sure, this revolution is just getting started.